Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. This video is going to be talking about going to school with chronic illness in person 5 days a week. I did this past year, 2020 through 2021 school year, and that school year was a little different for everybody, but when you have chronic illness, you have extra stuff you have to do in order to prepare for school. So, I started off with going to my school and having meetings. That way I could explain everything and start talking about accommodations I needed. In order to explain my condition, or conditions, depending on how many you may have, I made a PowerPoint that had pictures, that had list of symptoms and the explanation and everything like that. That way, they kind of had something to look at. That way, I could send it to them, they could look at it, and then they could come back and ask questions. That way then I can also further explain. So that's how I explained what P.O.T.S was, which if you don't know what that is, I have another video explaining what it is over on my channel if you need or want to learn more about that. I also have other chronic illnesses, but those ones were not the ones I needed accommodations for at that time. So at the beginning of the school year, that's what I started off with. Then before we started school, because I was waiting on the doctor's note, we didn't know when it was going to be done. We didn't know when we were actually going to receive the doctor's note, and luckily it came before I started school. And I printed it off. I put it in a clear sheet that attached to my notebook / binder, and that way, if anybody didn't know my accommodations or forgot, I could pull that out and show it to them. That way they knew, alright, this is the doctor's note I have to follow, which they didn't always. So we had all that set up before I started school. Then I also dedicated an entire pocket of my backpack. So for me, I did the main front pocket, which is a pretty big pocket on the front of the backpack for all my medical stuff. And that's where I kept all that. And then I invested in a big water bottle. For me, I did a 1/2-gallon water bottle. That way I didn't have to go to the water fountain all the time to get water. So that was my setup. But for those of you that don't know what accommodations you want or need, go look at accommodations that other people have with the same syndrome, disorder, whatever you might need accommodations for. Go look at what other people have accommodations for with the same thing you have. That way you can look through those, see which ones you think would be most important for you, and then if other ones aren't listed, you can always request them or talk to your doctor about it and see what your doctor says as well. That way you know you have a good plan set up. So we did all that, and then I started school, and I did not have all the teachers following my accommodations. I had to fight for my accommodations all year. It was phone calls almost every day, trying to push my accommodations because teachers didn't want to follow them, or because it was inconvenient at the time for them. And it was constant battle trying to get those followed. So in return, my chronic illnesses were getting worse, so I was unable to tolerate as much as I was before. So I really had to fight even more and just kind of be like, all right, I'm not moving type of thing. Because with POTS, you can go into precinct P or pass out. At least I do, not everybody does. So I really had to learn how to just be like, nope, I'm gonna take a minute and sit here, and that is what it is. I had to learn how to be able to say that. I had to learn how to be able to say, I'm not going to participate in that activity. I'm gonna do this instead, if I couldn't participate in that activity. And so I really had to learn how to say that. And that was a constant battle out through the entire year. I would crash as soon as I got home. I couldn't do anything over the weekend. If I did, if I continued pushing myself, then I would go into precinct P or sync P over and over again, because my body was so tired and so done by that point. So that happened a lot. And so with all that being said, that's what determined my decision for high school, because that was middle school, which meant I still had 4 years of high school and then college, which right now at that time I was like, I have to make the decision for high school. So I decided to do an online school. That way everything was done from home, and I didn't have to worry about fighting the teachers all the time like I was at school, and I wouldn't be moving around a ton and pushing my body the same way I was then. So that determined my decision for online school. So I submitted my application, I got in, then all I had to do was set up everything for the following year, and that's what I did. Now everything's set up for this coming school year, which starts for me on July 19th, because the online school that I'm going through, you set your own schedule, you work at your own pace, you set your start dates and everything like that. So everything is your own pace, when you want to start, what time you want to work on your schoolwork and stuff like that. As long as you get it done by the due date on that assignment, you're good. So that's what I'm doing for next year. But for those of you that are doing in-person school, I hope that everything goes well for you, and I hope that your school follows everything you've set up, and that you don't have too much trouble with them. Thank you for watching. Hope y'all all have a great day, and see you later. Bye.